Native Land Pod is a production of iHeart Radio in partnership with Reason Choice Media.
Welcome home, everybody.
Welcome
This
home.
is Native Land Pod. I'm your host, Angela Rye, with our other hosts, Andrew Gillum and Tiffany Cross.
Hey, sis.
And hey, so we have a little mess from the DNC that we're going to talk about. This is an after dark
Yeah.
called
NLP Uncut.
So no names, right?
These are our
No
confessions.
No names. I don't
Not
want to
name
say
checking.
anybody's
No
name.
names.
These
Don't
clout
give
chasers will
anybody
love
no
nothing
shine.
more for us to say
These
some names.
clowns. Okay. So
I think
are
we should start chronologically.
That
okay,
is
yes,
just a wild
I love it, Tiff.
week.
Now you have the floor. Let's do
Okay,
it.
I'm going to tell a story. This wasn't any of us, but I'm
Here's
just
a
telling
little
the story of
that
something I
must be
saw.
told.
Exactly.
What had happened
Okay.
was
Whole thing.
What had happened was we were in line going through security, and this was somebody in front of us that had something in their bag. So I do want to point out that in Illinois, marijuana is legal. You can possess marijuana.
recreational,
You're not
yeah.
breaking the
not
law.
a federal offense.
Well, federally, unfortunately, marijuana is still listed as a Schedule I drug and considered illegal, which puts a lot of local municipalities at odds with the federal government,
Yeah.
a lot of airports at odds. So really, that is just a policy that I think needs to change. Not even for people who use it, but for people who are impacted by it. It's an unnecessary thing for people to have to go through. Anyway, so I don't know the rules. Perhaps my lawyer, who is present with me, can weigh in. If you are on federal property, which I think the United Center was, where everything was happening at the DNC, does it then become illegal? I don't know.
Yes.
If the TSA
Yeah.
finds it in your bag
Secret Service.
at an airport, but I'm saying at the airport, it's the TSA. They are a federal organization, even
That's
though the
right.
state, if you're traveling to another state where
Right.
it's legal from a state, I don't know all those rules.
Yeah, you can't
We
fly
weren't
with
trying
it.
to find out. So somebody in front of us had something in their bag. And so normally they're not looking for weed.
Allegedly. That's what they started yelling out.
Yeah, but
Right.
the magnetometers are looking for like magnet. They're not looking.
Like,
they're looking for
right.
certain material,
Weapons,
magnetic
precisely.
material.
So when this person in front of us, when their bag was flagged, one of the officers pulled out and said, "What is this?" And you could see that it was a J in a
Yeah.
little tube.
A J for the people at home
Who
that
don't
don't know what that
smoke.
is. It was a joint in a
Oh.
clear
Okay.
glass container.
Tube.
Well, it had to have
With a
something
top.
magnetic on. The top. may
Well,
have
it
been.
had a top on, and when the officer said, "What is this?" I immediately thought, "Oh, I bet that person, one, probably didn't know they had it in their bag,
Oh.
Yeah.
and
sad.
two, probably didn't know that the top was metal. Because
Oh.
otherwise, it would have gone through. You could have thought that was lipstick.
Yeah,
it would have
right,
gone
right,
through with
right,
no
right,
problem.
Right, yeah.
I don't know
Anyway.
why they had to be right in front of us, but I
It's
was
crazy. I felt
scared
bad for them.
It was
Yeah.
so crazy. I felt bad for
they,
them too.
They were like, look, that ain't mine.
But we don't know. We wanted to make sure that we were clear that it was not ours.
I know, but they were like,
Mhm.
that ain't
But
mine. And-
what I love is how everybody kept a steady hand. Nobody was like, "What? Oh my god!"
Well,
Everybody
because
was
we were
like,
talking
I
to them. We felt
definitely
like
was
we,
feeling like
we were
that's
like
scary.
with them. So we were like, that ain't his. I don't know where that came from. And I was like, I
Totally.
didn't see it. I don't know. And the dude was
Totally.
like, look, it was the external pocket. I don't know how they got that.
Okay,
don't know
well,
where
so
it came
now
from.
let's move along. So here's the other thing that happened shortly thereafter
"That's so rude."
is
I just want to say
Andrew.
I'm happy it was all good.
Yes,
Yeah.
me too. Andrew after that was telling us because Tiff saw Omarosa. Oh, that was the only name I mentioned. Sorry, I didn't mean to say her name.
Andrew needs to apologize.
Yeah, he does need to apologize because Tiff saw her and then we said some things because
During
we
the
didn't know
live
why
show.
she was there. Like, why
She was
didn't
taking
you go
pictures.
to the RNC
During the live
of
show.
our show?
Yeah,
It's
it was
interesting.
weird.
So,
Well,
Andrew, do
we
you want to
didn't- we
apologize
didn't-
to us yet?
So let me give some perspective here. We were closing out the show on one of these days, Tuesday, I think.
I think it
and-
was Monday. That was it Monday?
I think it's Tuesday.
It was
Tuesday.
Monday.
It was Monday.
Whenever
Andrew.
you came over and sat next to us,
She came over because there wasn't another co-host. It was Tuesday. That was the only night that it was just the three of us. Monday.
No,
was
this was after.
No,
the
I came
guest-
over at the end.
That's right.
Oh,
we
you
had
know
no
what?
guest
Because
host.
Bakari
It
was over there.
Tuesday.
You're
Oh,
right. It's
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
You're
You're
right.
right.
Okay,
Thank
You're
you
right.
again. I
Okay.
appreciate that, and I appreciate
So
that.
you
I'm
see how
right
I said
part.
sorry? Did you hear how I said you're right?
Apologies,
Sorry.
Because you
Andrew.
said when you
You're
are
right.
dead wrong. apologize.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We agree.
Apologize.
So I agree. We all agree when you're dead wrong, you apologize. So then
you're dead wrong, apologize.
We're asked by our host friend, Angela, to offer some reflections about the day. And we're all high on that. And then, as happens sometimes, I was speaking and giving my reflections on the experience. And I look over and I see they're hitting each other like each other's shoulder. I'm like,
no. I didn't hit.
Yeah, y'all were doing this tag team.
I did not hit you, Tiff.
And then look at the video, y'all, because it's indisputable. And then what happens is I say, what's going on now? Like, name such person is taking pictures of us. Such person who worked for the White House.
Who is that? Who's he doing? Who's he doing, Tiff? Who's he doing?
What's happening?
I'm trying to figure out what impression
I said,
this
y'all,
is.
we're in our show. So they're like, I'm
nasty.
sorry, they come back to the show.
Nasty guy.
Few moments later, not very many moments later, it's again. You see her. And I'm like, what is going? I said, you know what?
We saw another person?
Maybe y'all, no, the same person,
Oh.
except it's a new experience for you. So, we got to interrupt again the show. And so I say,
That is not
maybe
true. It was in
y'all
the same
are envious of her. And you were like, what?
Tell me, why would you think that ever
thank
in
you.
your life?
Because
Thank
I
you.
don't ever recall seeing you all pay attention to anybody.
Why was she taking
If somebody
pictures of our set
who
and we
was tap
clearly
dancing
don't
for
like?
Trump is tap dancing in front of you and
Yeah.
taking pictures
There
of
were
you,
pictures
you
who
might feel
people
away.
took pictures of us the whole time. We were
No, but
there.
why her?
I trust them. I don't trust her.
I agree.
So-
She's still an op, as far as I'm concerned.
How
She's
about
still an
that?
op.
The feds.
I look,
feds.
and this is without regard to whomever. My
Speaking of the
point
feds,
was-
what about I got
Yeah.
followed in the elevator?
Oh, then there was
Let's
that.
get to that. Let's get to that. That's what I want to talk
So
about.
I got
This is
followed
what
in
you
the
don't want to
elevator.
do, people.
Yeah. So
You don't wanna
number
do
one,
this.
I think that we learned that we feel real pedestrian, but we're not real pedestrian. And RJ, Andrew's wife has told her, just like, y'all be moving like you not who you are.
we
And
need to
sometimes
follow. We need to
that
go with each
catches-
other's tweets.
Yeah, we definitely need to go in
That's the
groups.
rule.
Go in groups. Always
Yeah.
go in groups. always
Because
go in
I went on
groups.
the elevator by myself, allegedly, but I was on the phone talking to my manager, and another guy got on the elevator, and he was like, "You've been calling me crazy in DC for 10 years." And I was like, "What?
Who are you?
Who are you?" And he said his
No
name,
idea.
which shall not be repeated. I actually don't remember his name again, sadly.
I got it.
You only got the first name.
No, I got both. I know
Oh.
the deal.
Oh,
Mhm.
you searched it. Okay. So anyway, this man works in a financial services company. He's a minister at my friend's church, come to find out, but I haven't been there in some time, so I don't know him. And it was just a whole mess. And he was, "You've been calling me crazy in DC for 10 years. Call me the B word, get off the elevator."
I think it's important to say it.
You don't know.
Because let me just
ahead,
say,
Tiff, you got it.
What do you mean you
as
don't
a
know?
woman on an elevator with a man who is speaking to you aggressively, because I don't
Yeah.
want to make light of this, a
Mm-mm.
man who is speaking to you aggressively, Angela had already hit her floor. Because I was like, why would you get off on your floor? She had already hit it. He came
Yeah.
on after her. And
But if he
he's
would have
saying
got off, I
something,
would have got back on another elevator.
yes. But he's speaking to her aggressively. And then
Yeah.
when she's getting off the elevator, he says, bitch. Now
Yeah.
imagine, as a woman, it's 1:30 in the morning.
Yes.
You by yourself on this elevator. It's not very populated in the halls. Some crazy person's on here talking crazy to you, and you getting off the elevator. You don't know if they about to get off with you, and they say, bitch.
that was all bad.
Yeah.
That's a problem. So Angela tells us this story the next day, and Andrew's like, who is this dude? We gonna Google him. We gonna look him up to see who he
we
is.
were going to do something else, but on the process.
But first, we
gonna
had
find
to
out
know who he was and what he looked
We
like.
were just going to report him. We weren't going to do anything threatening. But
I
I
was
think
gonna do something.
no, it just this is a recording. We are not going to do
I know.
anything.
I'm not
at
saying
all.
I was gonna
That's
cause
correct.
physical violence, but I
Okay.
was going to do more than just report him.
Well, he has been reported, and hopefully his pastors talked to him, and he's figured it out. But we did see him on the convention floor night.
I asked Angela,
Kamala's
point
night.
him out when you see him. This was
Yeah,
the night that the
that's
black
true.
woman accepted
She accepted her nomination. But I think we were already
And we
feeling
shamed
froggy.
her.
We were all
I think
feeling
we were
very
already
high.
feeling froggy. Not high. We were
High
just
on
feeling,
the moment.
yeah,
It
but
was
I think
packed on
it
that
was
floor.
packed and it
Couldn't
was
move.
high tension because you couldn't move and it was stressful. And I was watching people and all these germs.
I was having a
flying
panic
around.
attack.
Me
right.
too.
Like you literally somebody would be like this on you.
Look, y'all
So
should
I
have
saw-
followed. Y'all
I
should have followed
saw the guy-
Charlemagne's move. Charlemagne and I were standing next to each other. I look one way. Next thing I know, I look back. He's
He
standing
was
next
up
to me.
on a platform.
This dude had then got
Yeah,
up
on his
on a
Chris
bleacher or
Stilts.
something.
But no, the thing is, the guy was there and he still had the crazy eyes. The funny thing is, how are you going to confront somebody crazily in an elevator at a crazy time to say, you called me crazy for 10 years, who I never know you crazy for saying it, but you actually sound crazy doing it? That's interesting too, but I digress. The point is, we saw Crazy Eyes on the floor, and Crazy Eyes, when I saw him, I said, Tiff, that's him. And then Tiff said,
It's go time, girls.
No,
I told y'all I've been ready. And Peaches and Herb came out.
No, they didn't.
And I walked up to him. But okay, I'm being silly, but this is the truth of it.
This part is true.
I take offense that a man would put a woman in that position. And I do want people to know you were not just talking to Angela. You talking to me too. You talking to Andrew. You talking to anybody who rocks with us.
And at this point, I'm already in the alleyway.
Andrew is like, first of all, at this point, we have gotten on Andrew's last nerve about 10 times a day. So Andrew is with us, but he like, I need five feet away from y'all now.
He needed 500 feet, apparently. He's gone.
So I walked up to the guy on the floor because I wanted him to know it was not okay. And I said, you better watch your mouth. And he said, you don't know me. And I said, you better watch your beep mouth. And so Lolo was with us, and Lolo is like, let's go. So we're moving, but I wanted him to know. I'm like, I wish he would. So he's behind us. He's like, he's right behind us.
Balloons are dropping
she
at
did
the
what
same
she
time.
does when she comes in as the
Lolo
number
was
two.
pushing us. Andrew, that was necessary. You would have done the same thing. I wanted you to know I'm froggy. You was feeling froggy on the elevator. Now we all feeling froggy. So now what?
We just leaped into the nomination.
He was the name he called Angela because he knew better. So we not 5 seconds off this incident, okay?
Yes, and then
we walking off the
one.
floor, and then Angela is taking a picture with somebody.
Yes, I just saw a former, he's still a friend who I worked on Capitol Hill with, Daryl Doss. I will name check him. I love you, Daryl. I'm sorry. We were trying to get our selfie, and there was a fraud that was trying to, he just was in the picture. And it's like, can you please get out of our picture?
Someone who has publicly harassed us, who's been saying ugly things about us, and someone who is has done and said fraudulent things with people we know. Is that fair to say,
to get resources extract resources from the organizations that help to fight against the thing that we talked about on our most recent podcast, voter fraud, alleged voter fraud intimidation, voter suppression, or voting rights, protecting voting rights all across the South. Organizations that do that work, this individual has taken money out of their hands to do whatever it is they want to do. I'm not naming him on
suffice it to
purpose.
say, you didn't want to be in the picture with that person.
Right.
No, I didn't want him photobombing me. So I just was like, can we wait a second? I don't take pictures with thieves in them. And then he didn't move. And I was like, this person took money from my friend. And then he was like, what you say? So then I was like,
I ain't say no names.
I said, give my friend her money back. I named her. And then he was like, no, we got to have a conversation. And then Tiff says,
we're being escorted off the floor. And again, he is aggressively pursuing Angela.
They were
so I held my hand out. And if you're listening, bleep me or mute this part. But I said, no, you ain't got shit to say to Angela. Get the F away from us. And he is trying to push past me to get to Angela in a very aggressive way that made me uncomfortable. So I continued to yell. I don't know what I said at that point, but we were with Lenard.
She's being carried away in somebody's arms, and she's still...
No, nobody's doing that.
Carried away.
But just on
this person was aggressively pursuing Angela.
And I was yelling, you're a fraud, you're a effing fraud, which is the truth. But also I'll just say, thank God that Lenard security was there to make sure that it didn't get any worse. He prevented the man from doing anything further. Lenard is a little bit taller than me, but he's very protective of all of us, and wanted to make sure that this man was understanding that there was no conversation to be had with any women, and so did the security, who
but
made
literally
sure
asked, why are you aggressively going after women that way? Do not aggressively approach these women. And he did not listen. And then at this point, it's a melee guy. Like, there are people around us. It's a whole crowd.
It looks crazy. And then I'm feeling bad because there's literally, we're robbing people of this really historic moment. And it's like, for what? And I think part of it for me was like, there were people, even like, Blue Vest walked up during our podcast and, you have been like going above and beyond to try to get folks to not pay attention to this very important case, trying to ensure that Marilyn Mosby gets pardoned over a case that sure, I disagree with the outcome of the case. I wish that prosecutorial office didn't follow that, but that wasn't Marilyn's work, and for you to go above and beyond, you're allegedly a justice reform advocate. But my only point is, I got suspended in the 7th grade. And it was because I'm making a point. I got suspended in the 7th grade, and it was for fighting a fight that wasn't mine. I am far more protective of the people in my life than I am for myself. It's probably something I need to work on in therapy. But I will just say, I don't want to be at something as historic as the DNC, and there's beefs popping up all around. Most of them were not ours. But I do think that people need to be accountable for the things they say, especially when they're engaging in dangerous, toxic rhetoric and engaging in dirty, nasty work behavior. And I think those are the things that we're confronted. When I look back at what happened, I'm not pleased at how I engaged with these folks. I think it could be done in better ways. But also there are some people I don't want to have a sit down conversation with because I don't think that you are mindful enough about your actions to care. I think some people are attention hoes, they're going to do what they need to do to get attention. And I don't want to engage with you because that's a nice way to put it, Tiff. I don't want to engage with you because there's no sincerity in what you're doing. You're just going to do what you think is going to go viral. And that's why it's funny, Blue Vest, because your little tweets didn't get no traction.
But honestly, to me, whatever the reasoning behind it was is irrelevant to me. Whatever reason this person on the elevator had, whatever reason this person on the floor had in pursuing you, whatever reason, somebody taking pictures up, whatever it is, if you are making me uncomfortable, if I can't go like this without touching you, you are infringing on my right to exist, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. More so, it makes me feel in danger. So again, to a PSA, do not put anyone in that position. And also, look, I think we're all intelligent people, with intellectual curiosity here. And that is how we show up. That is who we are for the most part. Yeah. But like many in our community, there is another side. And we work to check ourselves and, to sit across from people we disagree with and still maintain a collegial atmosphere. Once you cross a certain line, well, now we're just two people with a problem with each other and you're infringing on my right to exist. You don't want to put yourself or any of us in that situation. We are living in crazy times where people are absolutely batshit crazy out here. Don't conduct yourself that way. Yeah. Don't put yourself or us in harm's way or make anybody feel uncomfortable.
Or you're in conflict with me and I'm not aware.
Right.
And we're not aware of
you really
each other
with yourself.
And then now you come, we got beef, we got tension. We don't have any of that because we don't know each other.
We don't even know each other.
I promise I don't know who said what to me 2 years ago on social media. We're not looking at things like that. That's the beef that exists in your head.
I ain't seen them. I don't know what you thought about
Andrew
me.
Really doesn't.
It was very interesting to then later learn about this other dude, last dude we talking about, then went on and trashed us, all three of us.
And that was before the thing even happened. How are you gonna call us?
We didn't even know.
But y'all, I walked into the hotel the day we checked in, and this very person embraces me, and I embrace him in a full-fledged hug.
You're lying. The day that he tweeted?
The same day, the insult is hurled. And I would never have known.
Wow.
Is whatever. So no, it's all good. I mean, please, it is what it is. I felt worse about what happened because by the time y'all get to me, I'm in the tunnel. I got earplugs in. I'm listening to music, waving to people as they go by. I see them coming my way, but I see something has gone down because I see the security guard is a little, amped up.
Agitated.
I say, Tiff, what's up? You're like, nothing. Everything is great. What a night. Da da da. I was like,
because I knew we were on your nerves, Andrew. I'm like, let's just get out of here.
It was all good.
And security was telling us,
get out of here. He said, don't say anything else. And I think
me and Angela got in trouble when we got in the car. He's like, don't say anything, lady. Just keep walking.
And I missed all of that. I had my earplugs in and went to sleep. So I learned about it the next morning. And then at this point, it's like, oh, man. But all that to say to some of the one, it was a overwhelmingly great event. Two, it was great connecting with a whole bunch of people. The downside, and I think some of this, y'all, is we are really good, decent people who try to create a family atmosphere with everyone that we come into contact with, and especially y'all who are listeners and supporters and friends and that kind of thing, to the point where, you know, beefs can be had. You might be mad at me for something I said on the show or something, and I don't even know. We don't know. And so this tension gets brought into a situation and it escalates, and it's so unnecessary. And Angela and Tiff, you said, you know, I wouldn't be conducting myself. Listen, sometimes people put you in situations that we don't like to be in, and you're going to do what it takes as a human, and your survival instincts kick in to do what's required. That's what it is.
We welcome disagreement. We do not invite confrontation in a negative way. You see me out and you want to tell me you disagree, no problem. Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I prefer it in an email.
I don't want you to email me about that.
Don't email me, but you can come up to me and tell me you disagree, but that's fine. If it's respectful,
it's unnecessary.
I think if that could just offer a best practice for myself, I'm not putting this on y'all. I think that if I could go back, what I would have done is to try to tamp it down a bit. Like, I think that my feelings were justified, but my feelings did not have to come out enraged the way they did. And I think that there are some things that just don't deserve attention. Like me yelling about Blue Vest on a stage. What did that really resolve? Like, sure, we might have exposed some things, but what's really the point? Telling the dude he's a fraud. Clearly, he knew he was a fraud because I never said his name, but he was the only person out of that huge group that responded. Will always holler. And so that's the thing. I think that I specialize in calling out, and I would like to be better about calling up. It's just not necessary. And so the thing I want to work on is filtering out, like, okay, here's how I'm feeling. How can I resolve those feelings so that I can have an uplifting conversation, if at all, with people? And then to Tiff's point, one of the things that she's saying to me often, and I'm trying to put it into practice every day, is like, is this person telling me this because they want me to resolve it? Or do they need an issue spotter? Do they need a strategist? Do they need a listening ear? Or do they need or do they need to vent? And I can take on, I've heard my friends' problems. They didn't ask me to go be an MMA fighter or even to be, a mediator. Maybe they were just sharing, and maybe I can just hold them and hold space for that thing instead of trying to resolve it myself. Ain't nobody asked me to roll up no sleeves and put on no bicycle
I think all that's fair, but I also just want to punctuate for the people listening who may find themselves in these positions. You did not invite that. Like, it didn't matter what you said, how you responded. Yes, I call people out too. I'm also very prepared to face the consequences. I don't say anything on social media that I wouldn't look somebody in their eye and say. I don't have Twitter fingers if I'm not going to be able to back it up in person.
Ain't no Twitter thugs over here.
But I also don't want to put people around me in a bad situation.
Yeah,
it's like my mother told me that when I was little. She's like, don't put the men in this family in a bad situation. That means your brother, your father, your uncles. Because if I say one thing to my brother is... my brother will be ready to throw knuckles on the spot. Like, he just don't have a filter. My uncles would gladly do some jail time for somebody who hurt me. So I always had to navigate that space carefully. But that does not mean that any woman is inviting you to confront her in an aggressive way that looks like it can get physical. That's out of pocket no matter what was said to you on the front end. But I will say, when Angela and I left the hotel the next day on the airport, we had on our dark glasses, our sneakers, our hair was in ponytails. We were like, who else wants some?
They had some Vaseline on their face, their arms. They was vassed up.
No earrings. We was ready. Okay, all right. We gotta go.
We love y'all. We not inviting it, but also we not putting these dudes in no bad situations.
Hey,
we
pull
love
up,
our
Maverick.
brothers too.
Some situations you just gotta pull up. Welcome home.
Welcome home, y'all. Native Land Pod is a production of iHeart Radio in partnership with Reason Choice Media. For more podcasts from iHeart Radio, visit the iHeart Radio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.